Hi, I'm Tom. This is Lucy, and this is Kitty Help Desk. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about why you might not want to adopt a cat. Now, I know that may sound strange coming from me. I really think cats are great pets. I think they're great family members. I think of mine as members of my family, and I love them as dearly as anyone in my life. That said, if I couldn't afford to keep them, then adopting them is really not a great plan. So here are just a few things that I think of when I think of reasons why a person shouldn't adopt. So first off is what I just said, paying for cat care. Now, when you first think about it, you may think, well, that's easy. I'll just buy a bag of food and a dish and I'm done. Maybe a litter box. Okay, that's maybe $20 or $30, and then pay the adoption fee, and so $100 to $200, and we're set up. But there's a lot more to it than that. And if you really want to have a cat who thrives, you really need to feed them the best food that you can afford. And you want to provide them with enrichment opportunities in your home. You want to give them good veterinary care, which means a checkup once a year. It means if you're adopting kittens, you're going to be dealing with spaying or neutering and vaccines over the years. There's some costs associated with that. And so, there are ongoing things that require money. And then there are those one-off things that happen that you don't expect. Last year, Miss Lucy sprained her elbow. And so we had to go to the vet, and there were x-rays and anesthesia and things in order to find out that she didn't have any broken bones. And we were very happy that she didn't have any broken bones. But that was still an unexpected expense right before Christmas. It always seems to happen like that. When you least expect it, that's when it's going to happen. So if you can't set aside, some money at all to use for a rainy day, then you might want to rethink adopting a cat. Now, those are very practical considerations. I think the size of your home may be also a practical consideration. And, I once knew a person who lived in a room, it was really not much bigger than a closet, and she had a dog and 3 cats. And I just really, I don't see a way for those animals to thrive in that environment. I just don't. I know if it's a temporary situation, that's a little different. But, if this is an ongoing situation, you want to make sure that you have room for these animals. And don't take on more than you can really provide for in the limited space that you have. We all have limitations on our space. So, in my home, I feel like 2 cats is as much as I can manage, and as much as I would love to have more cats, and I really would enjoy having more. I know that because of the money and the monthly bills and the spatial allotment, as far as like their territorial domains and how much room they need to feel sort of separated from one another, that 2 is pretty much the sweet spot for me. So you want to be aware of that. Something else that comes to mind is just, there's not a good way to put it. So, there are those people who kind of tend to think of pets as accessories. The dog in the handbag comes to mind. Pets that are sort of just expected to be like houseplants, that they get fed and watered. Maybe they're an exotic purebred cat. Maybe they're a beautiful lush cat that's meant to just sit there and be admired all the time. Well, that's just not practical. Cats are living entities. They are sentient beings, and they have wants and needs that need to be met every day. And one of the things that pet cats really need is frequent interaction. They don't need long interactions, but they need a lot of short interactions throughout the day. And that's something that you need to be willing to provide. Let's just put it this way, you need to be willing to let a cat be a cat. And, if you're not willing to do that, maybe you should just get a houseplant instead. Because a houseplant's going to stay in one spot. It's not going to bother you. It's not going to wake you up at night. It's not going to demand food or any of these things. It's not going to make a stink in the litter box. It's not going to spill litter outside the box or occasionally possibly miss the box entirely. Lucy. That plant is not going to cause any problems for you. And if you're that type of person where you need a problem-free existence, then a cat probably isn't for you. I will say, if you are inclined to be that sort of person, sometimes having a cat can actually help you to grow, because you sort of have to learn to let things go a little bit, And I can't think of a nicer way to learn a life lesson than with a cat. Right, Lucy? So the last thing I wanted to mention is, if you're the type of person that wants to control everything around you, a cat probably isn't for you. There are people who like to speak in terms of their cats, obeying them. I remember the RCA logo, and the slogan of RCA Records was "His Master's Voice." There's been this sort of idea in a lot of people's heads that we are the master species and the other species are below us and should all, provide us with what they have to offer, and they should follow our lead and do what we say, and we are masters over that domain. And honestly, nothing could be further from the truth. Cats really need autonomy in order to thrive. And if you expect a cat not to express their needs or not to do what they want to do, then honestly, you're just fooling yourself. And you really ought to get a houseplant. So I hope that after you think about all these things, you think that none of them apply to you and you're going to rush out and you're going to adopt a cat today. I hope that's the case, because there's lots of cats out there that need to be adopted. So thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye.